Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Rory with Roar in the Jungle, and today we're going to be talking about how the Bengals can bounce back from an 0-2-1 start. Thank God we're not the worst team in the league, but we're not far off. Literally a half game out. But first, the intro. Boom. So probably the most important thing the Bengals need to do to bounce back after an 0-2-1 season start is protect Joe Burrow. For God's sakes, this man has been lit up more than any other quarterback in the league so far. And, I can't blame it entirely on the offensive line, even though it's a huge reason why he's been taking so many hits. Literally, Joey Bosa made fun of Bobby Hart as he was pass rushing, so that there's that. But a lot of it, some of it is also Joe trying to hold on to the ball or making the not smart decision and not throwing away the ball, but trying to make a play. Which that play to Tyler Boyd right before he got freaking laid out by Malik Jackson was an amazing play on his part, but the Bengals have to protect their franchise Joe Burrow at this point because he's proven he is our future and our greatest hope of getting to that beloved Lombardi trophy. We have to protect Joe Burrow at all costs and, give him a running game. Jesus. Take some of the pressure off Joe by running the freaking football. And I don't know if that's an offensive line thing. I don't know if that's a Joe Mixon thing because Joe Mixon's been looking really out of it. Like the passion's not there as to compared to his first 3 seasons. While we're talking about running the ball, let's take a look at some stats to show you how bad the Bengals have been with running the ball. Alright, here's an NFL source. So, as we see here, the Bengals only have 238 yards running the ball. And that includes Joe Burrow running for his life, running for those first downs, and that magical touchdown run on his first TD ever, which is amazing. But I want to see Joe Mixon doing that. I want to see Giovanni Bernard doing that. It is incredible how this team starts off so bad every year when trying to run the ball. It's like, I get it. The offensive line is not a great offensive line, and they don't have a whole lot of continuity together. Jonah Williams' first year back. Right guard is Fred Johnson. Bobby Hart has had to deal with 4 different right guards since he's been here. The left side's not so bad with Trey Hopkins and Michael Jordan. Not horrible, but also not good. But for some reason, the Bengals just can't run the ball. They 238 yards rushing. There are some running backs with nearly double that already in 3 games. So why can't the Bengals figure it the hell out? At this point, we either gotta just rehaul the entire offensive line or get rid of Jim Turner in general because he is just not cutting the cheese, man. For some reason, this guy cannot get his offensive line motivated to run block, which, as we see, when you can run the ball effectively in the NFL, that's how you win games. Statistically, it's proven the more a team passes, the worse they are. Look at the Browns this year. What the hell are they doing? They're protecting Baker Mayfield by running it down people's throats with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I get it, both are good running backs, but guess what? So is Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. The fact that the Bengals can't run the ball is absolutely just a mockery of what they could be. It is, take off the clown mask, dude. So the last thing I'm going to discuss is a pretty controversial topic when it comes to the Bengals community on how to better this roster. We have to create salary cap. We have to be able to sign better and younger free agents because we have a pretty big divide when it comes to talent and the age of that talent. We all know that Geno Atkins is pretty great. We all know that Carlos Dunlap is pretty good also. We know what AJ Green was. And this year we need to prove that he can still do that. We had to consider letting go of these greats. We had to consider that whole change because we are starting to see a new nucleus. We are starting to see new players that could be potential stars. We know for a fact that according to the stats, which I'm about to pull up, like Tyler Boyd is leading our team in receptions. And I think he's proven that he's the Cincinnati Bengals' #1 wide receiver at this point. Joe Burrow trusts him, and he knows he's gonna be there and catch the ball when he needs it. Like earlier when I was talking about when Joe needed a play, he goes to TB, big levels, Boyd. He seems to have a better connection with Tyler Boyd at this point than AJ Green, which I get it. They didn't have an offseason together. AJ's been hurt. He didn't have a training camp really because of a hamstring, but like he has almost twice the receptions and for literally twice the yardage almost. AJ Green has 13 receptions for 116 yards. Does that sound like the AJ Green that we knew? I mean, I get it, rust, but if you've seen his routes, they look like he doesn't have that slither. He doesn't have that shiftiness. He looks like a rough old man at this point. I love AJ Green. I have his jersey in Color Rush. You've seen it in other videos. AJ Green is, as I used to say, you beautiful son of a bitch, because he would do stuff that no one could do. And I'm not saying Tyler Boyd can do that stuff, but at this point, he is our #1 wide receiver, and we have to keep that cohesion between him and Joe better, while also getting rid of some of our older players. Like if you look at here, I mean, 13 receptions for 116 yards. That's a joke. That means he's catching like, what is it? Oh my God, what is it? An average 8 yards per catch. Oh my God, that's not AJ Green. That yeah. So, I mean, you look at what money he's making. He's making $17 million this year. And we have to get rid of that. Geno Atkins is making 11 this year. He hasn't played through 3 games. And 0 stats because, he hasn't played. What is, let's see, Dunlap. Dunlap is making $10 million this year. Geno Atkins, $14 million. Our top 3 players have barely any stats. Let's look at the stats. So, Carlos Dunlap, 11 solo tackles, 4 assists, 0 sacks. 0 sacks, 1 TFL. Like I said, Geno Atkins has nothing because he hasn't played. AJ Green, I just went over it. 13 receptions for 28 yards. This team has to get younger. They have no other choice. Receiving yards, let's see, passing completions, passing yards, 700. Tyler Boyd accounts for literally 1/5 of the total receiving yards on his team. That tells you where you need to go. That this team has to get younger in order for us to be the team that we possibly can be. And we have to consider letting go of some of our beloved pieces. For sure, John Ross has to go. He's making almost $5.5 million this year, and he's probably not going to play. Yeah, let's see. Oh, Sean Williams is almost making $5 million too. He is not even in the mix. So, the Bengals have to really throw their arms around Joe Burrow. They need to protect him. We need to run the ball to take the heat off of him. So we need to figure out there. We need to get rid of our offensive line coach. We need to figure out what the hell Frank Pollock is doing, because Joe Mixon loves him. And we had to consider getting rid of our beloved longtime pieces in what could be 2 Hall of Famers if they were maybe on a different team, and if AJ Green wasn't hurt for the last year and a half. Geno still has a case to make the Hall of Fame, but it's not looking good as of right now. I mean, at this point, I'm down for keeping Geno Atkins, but Carlos Dunlap, Sean Williams, and A.J. Green. As much as I hate to say, we're probably going to have to let go of them. And I mean, John Ross too. We have to let them all walk this offseason for us to be a contender in the future. And we have to, I would say in free agency, go get the top linemen. Go get the top linemen in free agency next year for us to compete for the Super Bowls that we can with Joe Burrow. All right, guys, that's been my analysis. I hope that you enjoyed that. I know that I was a little bit sketchy. This is a new format for me to produce videos in, and I really appreciate you listening to me. Thank you for watching. You know what it is. Welcome to the Roar. Peace.